Starting with our agenda, what you will be learning today is we'll go over our LGBTBE Reach for Success Bootcamp. That will be a pre-conference starting on Tuesday. We'll go over our supplier to supplier matchmakers, the walk and talks, the induction ceremony, networking receptions, as well as take you through the Marketplace Expo. Next, we'll hear from TJ and with Jeff regarding matchmaker sessions. And then we'll be hearing from our speakers, Heather and Liz, for show up and follow up there to discuss the best practices at conference. And as I stated before, we'll have a Q&A at the end. So to start off, I would like to talk to you about our Reach for Success that will be held at our conference on Tuesday, August 13th through the August 13th, 2019. And this is our pre-conference. And it will be 2 sessions. We'll have a part A that begins at 1 o'clock p.m. to 2:30 p.m. And our presenters there will be Ingrid Galvez and Damon Jacobs. And then we will have our part B session from 2:45 to 4:15, where we'll have Mitch Lipman, who will be speaking, as well as yours truly here today, Heather Cox and Liz Whitehead, would also be doing the pre-conference boot camp. I have that is for the first-time attendees. However, it's for anyone that just wants that little extra insight on what to do at conference. What this webinar that we're presenting today is what to do before you get to conference. The pre-conference Reach for Success is going to be, okay, now that you have that, this is what you can do while you're here and put your game face on. This is a great opportunity for you to meet other new BEs that is also their first time attending, so that you all won't be overwhelmed together. So I really hope that everybody has made their arrangements to come on that Tuesday. Again, it starts at 1 o'clock for you to be, so you can get fully prepared to take our conference by the storm. Also on Tuesday, we have our supplier to supplier matchmakers. Now this does begin at 2:30. It's from 2:30 to 4:30. And what this is for you to meet with other BEs that you would like to work with. TJ and Jeff will talk more about that whenever we go to our matchmaker session. But I just want you to know that our supplier to supplier is on that Tuesday, and our supplier to buyer will be on that Thursday. So next, I would like to talk to you about our walk and talks at conference. Our walk and talks is the only one-on-one time that you have with our corporate partners without having to pre-register. So this is something that you just walk up to, sign your name on the sheet that the corporate partner, the corporation who you want to speak with, the name on that sheet, just sign your name underneath that. And then they'll come and y'all will have like a good 10 to 15 minute walk for you to give your spill on your business and what you can provide, the services that you can provide to them. And they will let you know, this is what you'll need to do, and, give you some insight on what they are looking for as well. You could bring with coffee, you could bring water. You see how people are dressed. This is more relaxed and not as formal as it is with the matchmakers. So this is a great way to start your mornings, especially in beautiful Tampa. I'm pretty sure we're going to see the sunrise. It starts at 7 a.m. So it's bright and early, but it's going to get your flow going, your motivation up for you to start your day and to get ready for our plenary sections. And also it's good exercise. Who doesn't need exercise? So next, I would like to talk about our induction ceremony. Let's raise our hands for all nobody can see anyone, but let's just, congratulate all of our new LGBT business enterprises that got certified this year. Our induction ceremony will be on Wednesday during the lunch plenary session. So I'm really, really excited about this. This is where you have the time to shine. Your name is announced as well as your business in front of everyone, all of the attendees at conference, and you get to shake hands with corporate partners and with myself. So you'll get your pen and just, it's a very exciting time. And we just want to show that we really appreciate you all for becoming certified. So again, this is going to be on Wednesday during the lunch plenary session. I will, for those of you who have not yet heard from me, I will definitely send out an email with more information, a finalized email with more information regarding the induction ceremony. So I also would like to discuss our networking receptions. At our conference, we do have a reception at the end of the day. And this is also a more relaxed atmosphere. You are having a good time where you can meet other business, LGBT business enterprises and corporate partners all in a relaxed setting and just a good networking opportunity. We have there's music, there's business cards passing, as you can see on the screen. If you want to stay in the crowd, you can, but we'll have offset tables and everything for you to have that one-on-one meeting. What we have not discussed is our apps, but we are going to have an app for you to where you can meet, you can make arrangements to meet with other BEs at these different receptions saying, hey, I'll be at this reception, meet me here, and then you can meet, and that's another networking mechanism. So we have the best receptions. They're really enjoyable, and people really do get a lot out of them as well. Be sure to just, maintain your professionalism. Always have a good time, but remember, this is networking and it's about your business. So just keep that in the back of your mind as you are speaking and trying to get business with other suppliers as well as corporations. So the last thing that I will be discussing is our Marketplace Expo. So as you all, well, for those who have not yet attended our conference, we have our Marketplace Expo at the same time as our matchmakers. And the Marketplace Expo is where all of our corporate partners will have an exhibit to where you could come up and talk to them about, that's another time for you to give your business pitch if you were not able to walk with them with the walk and talks, or, let's just say, for instance, that you weren't able to meet with them during matchmakers. This is another time for you to talk to them and, let them know about your business, and they will let you know what they're looking for. And again, it's a more relaxed. They have all types of information that you can see provided at the table. They will take the time to step away and sit down and talk with you if you are interested as well. I have had, a corporate partner to tell me actually that she feels as though that she meets more people during the expo than if she were to take the time for the matchmakers. So don't think that just because you're not meeting them at matchmakers or at the networking receptions, the Marketplace Expo is another great resource for you to meet all the corporate partners, as well as there's also other suppliers that will be having an exhibit as well. So with all of this information and all this time, there's going to be, a week load of networking available to you. Like I said, the walk and talks is every morning. You're going to have the pre-conference boot camp or the Reach for Success, as well as the supplier to supplier matchmakers. It's just going to be a great opportunity for you. And we are really excited for you to come and to attend our conference. So then what we've been talking so much about and what everybody is really interested in is our matchmakers. So I am going to turn it over to TJ and Jeff, and they'll be able to talk to you more about our matchmakers.
Thank you so much. Alicia, just to confirm, can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. All right. Hi, everybody. It is awesome to see so many people on this call, and assumedly a lot of you are first timers. Just so everybody who doesn't know me yet, my name is TJ Chernick, and I'm the director of NGLCC New York. And each year I come to the conference. I've been involved with NGLCC for 6 years. I've been helping run this program for 4, and I've been the NGLCC team lead for, this is my 3rd year. This is my baby. I am very proud of the Matchmaker program. We have an awesome team that helps you get the most out of it. Alicia kind of gave you an overview of what it is, but I'll go into a little more depth. Just so you know, where I'm going to talk to you what it is, and then I'm going to tell you how we do it, and I'm going to hand it off to Jeff, and then he's going to hand it off back to me, and we're going to talk about best practices and how to get the most out of it, and then I'll send you back for the rest of the webinar. So I will echo what Alicia said, that there is nothing like the NGLCC conference. It is the largest LGBT business conference in the entire world. I have gone to, I'm sure many of you have gone to dozens, if not hundreds, of conferences, and there is something truly special when we get so many of our LGBT affiliate chamber leaders, our corporate partners, and incredible LGBT business leaders all in one room. There is nothing like it. So I'm excited that everybody is here and working to get the most out of it. So Matchmakers is one of the cornerstone programs of how you can connect with other conference attendees. There are 2 sessions. There is one on Tuesday and one on Thursday. The Tuesday session will be your supplier-to-supplier matchmaking event. This is your opportunity to connect with your fellow BEs and see how you can connect with one another, either to work together directly or figure out how you can grow each other's network. A lot of BEs forget that you do hire out products and services. You don't always run everything in-house, and it's an amazing thing when we can keep the business within our community. So this is an opportunity to connect with others. And if you're looking to grow your market outside of whatever city you're in, this is a great way to build out your market in that regards. The Thursday opportunity is the BE to buyer opportunity. So this is where each one of these sessions is, it'll last for a few hours, and each sit down is 15 minutes with a 5-minute break in between. Maybe it's 3. Jeff, I'll let you chime in on that in a little bit. And it's your opportunity to sit down and give who you are, what you do, and why you should work with these individuals. I'll go into a little more detail about how you can get the most out of the opportunity, but there are hundreds of participants, and we have around 80 corporate buyers of different levels of corporations, and we use an external platform called My Business Matches, which is Jeff, who's going to speak about the platform. And this platform is a way that we can make sure that each meeting that you have, whether that be with a buyer or a BE, that you're both getting the most out of that opportunity. The buyers are going in and they know what they're looking for, and they're going to be searching for certain products and services. And when you fill out this profile, it'll help us match you directly with the people that are looking for your service to make sure that you're getting the most out of that opportunity. I want to hand it off to Jeff to talk you through the portal a bit, and then we'll come back once you understand how it works to talk about how you can get the most out of the program generally. Jeff?
Hello, TJ, can you hear me?
I sure can.
Awesome. I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen. I'm just going to do a quick overview of the portal. It's not going to be as in-depth, but please keep in mind, everyone, that I do have a user manual that we'll be distributing post this conference to help you navigate through the portal and make sure that you get the most out of the business matchmaker itself. So I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen once it's passed over to me. All right. And TJ, if you can just give me a verbal that you're able to see my screen currently.
We can see the screen.
Perfect. Awesome. So again, thank you so much for having me. My Business Matches is very happy to be part of the NGLCC Business Matchmaker again. We have been facilitating the Matchmaker for a number of years now, and we are really excited about this one as well. So if you're not currently registered for the Matchmaker, please keep in mind that it is a separate registration. If you're registered for the full conference, that does not mean you're registered for the Matchmaker yet. So please be mindful of that. A separate registration is required in order to capture the information to generate those matches in the profile. You can go to NGLCC19.mbmapp.com and begin your registration. You'll see the registration button on the top right-hand corner. Once you are registered and your profile is created, you'll go ahead and log in. You can go log in same spot at NGLCC19.mbmapp.com. You'll see the login information over here. Your username is always going to be your email, and the password was created during registration. Once you're logged into the platform, you'll be presented with your user dashboard. One thing to note, you can receive notifications to make sure that you are up to date with everything regarding the platform itself. Those notifications can keep you up to date with any requests that were sent out, any requests that were received from other vendors in the system, or any requests received from some of the buyers in the system. And just to note, TJ, you were correct. The transition for the matchmaker is 5 minutes. I just want to make sure everyone's really mindful of that. Each session is going to be 15 minutes with 5-minute breaks. These times are predetermined inside the system. You can request different times to various vendors or buyers within the system itself. So just to note, once you're logged in, you'll see your name on top right-hand corner, and from here you can edit different information. We did optimize the platform to make it a little bit easier for you to locate your matches and the other vendors in the system, and that's going to be notated on this section over here. So when you're requesting meetings, it is important to know that meetings must be confirmed by the other party to show up on your schedule. Once you're in the dashboard itself, the See Matches button, that's going to take you to your matches with the buyers, and supplier meetings button is going to take you to all the vendors that are currently in the system. There aren't direct matches as far as the supplier goes, so please be mindful just to review the profile and see if there's someone that you're interested in meeting with to send a request. I'm going to dive into the See Matches section to show what that view looks like. So again, based off the categories that I input into the system, these are going to be my NAICS codes. My matches is going to generate with various buyers that are looking for the specific NAICS codes. So it is very important to enter as many NAICS codes as possible. I understand that NAICS codes can be kind of broad, but if you're in marketing, IT services, just enter as many that pertain to your company as possible to generate as many matches as you can. Once you locate your matches, it's important to review the profiles of the buyers or the vendors in the system and make sure that you do the proper research before you begin requesting a meeting. Keep in mind you have an internal chat system built inside the system as well that allows you to send internal chats to various vendors or the buyers in the system. Once you determine a buyer that you're interested in meeting with, you can go ahead and request a meeting from here. The times will generate for the specific meeting times. Since I'm under my buyer's matches, I'm only going to see the meeting times for the August 15 matchmaker. You can request up to 3 times. Once you select the times that you're interested in meeting with the buyer, you send the request, and that buyer does receive that notification that request has been sent out. I do implore everyone to take advantage of the platform as much as possible, review your matches, and specifically definitely review the supplier meetings as well. This is a great opportunity for you to get some extra networking built in. If you do not have high matches or too many meetings with the buyers, this is a great alternative to foster some relationships within the. So you're currently set up right now. Scheduling is open for the business matchmaker, supplier, and buyer supplier as well. So that is currently set in place. If you do have any questions regarding scheduling or any questions regarding your business categories and how to generate some more matches, I am here to help in that regard as well. And just to touch base a little bit in regards to on-site, I will be on-site for the whole conference. So if you do need help with your schedule, please be sure to check in with the matchmaking desk, and I'll be sure to facilitate any of your questions and help you get set up for that. And that's about all I have, TJ, unless there's something you want to add to it.
No, that's it. Thank you so much. And just so everybody knows, you may want to check and make sure that you're muted. Sometimes when you come in a little late, the mute doesn't activate, so we might be able to hear some of you. So make sure that you're muted. Thank you, Jeff, so much for that. Again, please reach out to us if you have any issues with the portal at matchmakers@nglcc.org. I've done this for a few years, and every year I interview suppliers and buyers to see what they say is their best practices, and how to get the most out of it. So just some tips of the trade, not coming from me, coming directly from buyers and BEs. The recommendations that I've always been hearing is remember that to sit down at this table, and I'm not trying to dampen pop anybody's bubble, when you're sitting at this table, it is like winning the lottery if you sit at this table on this one meeting and land that $1 million contract. Boy, I want all of y'all to win it, but unfortunately, it's a bigger, longer game. And always keep that in mind. Always keep remembering that when a company is purchasing your service, they're not purchasing your service. They're purchasing their relationship. There are plenty of people who can do certain things, unless you're very, very niche, in which great job. But also just remember that if you're in the pool, it's the relationship with you that they want, that they can trust the work that you do and trust you directly. So remember that it's part of the bigger picture, and this is the beginning of a long-term relationship that you're going to be responsible for cultivating. Remember that, really understand what your capabilities are. I would encourage everyone to bring your capabilities statement, the form that shows what you do, what your capacity is, and who you are, so you can give them after your meeting, because they want to walk away with something to remember you by. And when you're thinking about your capacity, not everyone is ready for that tier 1, that direct contract, but often people are ready for that tier 2 contract, to work directly with those BEs that can take on that tier 1 contract. And that's why the B2B matchmaker on Tuesday is so important, because many corporations will count diverse spend from multiple diverse owned businesses. So if you hire out some kind of contracting, whether it's legal or architecture, whatever it may be, if you're working with a certified minority-owned business, make sure that you're letting them know that. And I would say, finally, remember that this is one of the many ways to connect at the conference. As Alicia meant, as Alicia said, there's walk-in talks, there's receptions, there's the NGLCC conference app, which will allow you to request individual meetings outside of matchmakers. This is an incredibly inclusive and friendly conference. It brings 1,500 to 2,000 people. It's so accessible, and everyone's so friendly and so happy to be there. I promise you, outside of matchmakers, you're going to have plenty of opportunities. But I want you to get the most out of this program. So if you have any questions at all, please email me at matchmakers@nglcc.org. and I'll answer any questions. We will also follow up after this webinar with some best practices worksheets, as well as some instruction manuals for the portal. Thank you all. I can't wait to see everybody in Tampa, and thank you, Alicia, for having me on this call.
Thank you, TJ, and thank you, Jeff, so much for all this information regarding matchmakers. I know that this was very insightful for everyone, and again, everyone, this is getting recorded, so we'll be more than happy to send you the link to this webinar. Again, thank you both. It was very insightful. And moving on, I would like to now introduce you to our presenters today. Diversity Mastermind Show Up and Follow Up, presented by Heather Cox and by Liz Whitehead. So without further ado, Heather and Liz, let me switch it over to you, and you'll be able to begin.
Great. Thanks, Alicia, and hello, everybody. As she mentioned, we are diversity masterminds, and what that means is we help people navigate supplier diversity and make the most of their certifications. I don't think I'm the presenter yet, Alicia.
I'm switching it over to you right now.
Okay, great.
There you go.
And great. And so what we do, we have actually an 8-week class where we bring people through how to make the most of their certification. And what we're going to present to you is just a little piece of that that we share with our suppliers about how to make the most of your conference. So I'm going to move to the next slide. So these are just some of the tips that we offer. Heather, do you want to introduce yourself also?
Can we hear Heather? Hold on one second.
Is she muted?
Yes. Sorry about that, Heather. Give me 1 second.
Well, while we're getting Heather on the line, I just want to go through the main things we're going to cover. One, relationships with local organizations. 2, getting to know your target market. So one of the things that was mentioned already a couple of times was how to do your research for the big corporations when you are selecting them for a matchmaker, approaching them for
Hi, Liz,
walk-in
I'm
time.
here now.
Heather, are you there? Okay, great. Awesome.
I'm here. Yay, hey. Sorry about that.
That's all right. So Heather, just give a few words about you.
Hi, I'm Heather Cox. I'm one of the co-masterminds of Diversity Masterminds. And yes, we're very excited to share this information. It's a very small part of our very comprehensive 8-week virtual program. So Liz, take it away. Show us what you got. Show us what we got for them.
Yeah. So getting to know your target market. I think this is probably the most important thing. And now that we're before the conference, you guys are already on the right track. You're here and you're preparing, which is fantastic. You're not just going to show up blind and not know what to do. So in getting to know your target market, how do you do that research? We're going to talk about how you narrow down your target companies and identify which ones will be there. And then also we're going to take you through the tips for making an event playbook. A couple of questions came up on the chat. How do I know when the walk and talks are? How do I know when the matchmakers are? When are the receptions? We're going to actually lead you through how to create a playbook so that you have all that information at your fingertips when you're there. So
can everyone see the slides? I'm just seeing some of the chat saying they're not seeing the slides. Is everyone seeing the slides? Just say yes or no in the chat box.
No, they're not moving.
Oh, they're not moving? Okay.
Oh, they're small.
Heather, can you see them?
I can see them, yeah. I wonder if I have control accidentally. That would be bad if I did.
I'm moving them.
Yes, I can see them.
Okay.
You can see them moving?
I can see them moving, but would you like for me to present? I mean, want me to control the slides?
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to do that?
Okay.
And then, so if people can see yours better, that's better.
Let's see.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Okay, cool. And then we're just 2 ahead. Next one. Yeah. Oh, back one. There we go. So one of the key things for preparing, great, thanks you. I'm glad it's working now. So one of the key things to prepare is who is your target market. So we've heard today there's going to be a lot of opportunity, a lot of people there, a lot of energy around it. And to make the most of it, one of the things you really want to do is narrow down who are the people that you can really make an impact with. Who are the companies that are looking for your services or that you know from your research that you can really help with a problem, with their problem and your solution. And I think the best way, there are a couple of tips and tricks to do that. The first thing is you want to narrow down who's actually going to be there, because you can do a whole bunch of market research and then it turns out that the companies aren't there. Well, NGLCC provides you with their list of sponsors, which is on the website, and that's a great place to start. Who of those sponsors are going to be people that you want to meet with? Also, we just went through the matchmaking app, and you can look through those companies and find a match for you. So that's how you can start to narrow down your target market. I always recommend that you start with 5 companies, which seems small. It seems like you might be missing out on larger opportunities, but that's what's going to allow you to actually focus and narrow down those priorities. How do you find them? So we mentioned that one of the things that we have here is you have the conference. They're going to be at the conference. You can find out where they're going to be. The matchmaking app is going to give you a little bit about how you know what they're looking for, but there's other ways to find out what they're looking for and how you can approach them. Your best tool is right in front of you. If you're looking at these slides, it's the internet. Not only, I think starting with their supplier diversity portals, registering in the portals for companies that you know can make a difference is a great start. But then you can also, one of the things I like to do is look at LinkedIn, look at the supplier diversity people that are going to be representing these companies and find out the things that they're talking about. Heather and I recently went to a conference where one of the supplier diversity people said what she was looking for, and that she tried to find a couple of BEs through the matchmaking software, but she couldn't find them because they didn't register, they didn't participate. And so that's a great way to start to do that research. Heather, did
the
you
other
want to
thing
say
that
something?
she mentioned was, the other thing she mentioned is that their keywords were not in line with what they did. So when she was searching for them, she couldn't find them because of the keywords that were not entered correctly.
Right. Yeah. So as Jeff mentioned when he was talking about how you use the Matchmaker app, and as we'll continue to say, be broad in terms of what your NAICS codes and your keywords. Be broad in terms of that,
right,
because that's what helps people find you. Once you get in front of them, however, you want to be really specific about the value you can provide. One of the other things that their LinkedIn profiles are going to tell you is how committed are they? So, and what that means is, if they're at the NGLCC conference, if they're showing up there, they're committed to supplier diversity and to the program. They're showing up at events and you have an opportunity to see them. What that also tells you is that you probably have other opportunities to see them locally through your regional regional affiliates as well. Or do they just show up for the national conference? Probably not. There's probably other affiliates where you can have an opportunity to see them throughout the year. So finding out what those commitments are, finding out where else they're going to be is helpful as you start to build that relationship. TJ mentioned, yes, we'd all love to go sit down and win that $1 million contract, but chances are before that happens, there's a long relationship building process that you're engaging in, and starting here at the conference is a great start, and you want to find out how to continue that relationship going forward. Their commitment to supplier diversity and to the different programs they engage with is going to be a key to that. And where and when can I meet them? I was just doing some research for one of my clients today, and many of the supplier diversity programs on their website have, this is where we're going to be. So maybe they were at the Disability In conference in July, they're going to be at NGLCC in August. Where are they going to be following up, and which of the companies make sense for you to meet with? For example, you might want to start, depending on your time, energy, and resources to travel, you might want to start with the companies that are closer to you, that are going to show up at the events and regions near you, rather than try to spread all around the country and then not be able to make it to those events where the corporations are going to go to. Heather, do you have any other tips on preparing and narrowing down the target market?
Well, I think a good strategy also is, if you've done business, and we talk about this in one of our modules, if you've done business with a specific industry, if you're already doing business with some of the pharma companies, if you're already doing business with the automotive companies, and not necessarily the biggies, but even their prime suppliers, that's a great way to target market, so you're not overwhelming yourself with 20 targets for one conference.
Right, absolutely. So Alicia, I think we can move to the next slide. Okay, so we talked a little bit about the playbook. Before I talk about that, I also want to reiterate what we mentioned about the regional organizations. So when at the conference, there will also be the affiliates from the regional chambers. So I'm in the DC area, so there's the Maryland Chamber. National NGLCC is here in DC, so I'm very lucky. I have a lot of affiliates there. You want to think about too, if you are relatively newly certified, have you made those connections on a local level, and can the people at those local organizations help you with how to make the most of this conference too? I also think they're really helpful in terms of following up, and oftentimes the corporations will go to the leaderships there to say, hey, I'm looking for somebody in this region that can provide XYZ service. You want to be someone that they think of. So as you go to the national conference and make these national connections, don't forget about the local as well. And we have a whole module on that as well, and how to make the most of that. So in terms of actual, okay, what can you do now, the steps you're going to take going forward? We create, as part of Diversity Masterminds, we actually create an event playbook. And what this playbook provides you is a rundown, your own customized version of what is going on at the conference. So it starts when you get there and ends when you leave, and has all of the meetings you're going to go to. So we talked about the matchmaking meetings, both with the suppliers and the buyers. Those are things you want to include in here. You also want to include, as Heather mentioned, maybe there's companies that you're already doing business with, or companies that you already have a relationship with. How do you capture that so that you don't have to start at the very beginning or try and remember, okay, do I have to go back here, or do I have to check with someone back at home with what was our last conversation with that person? And creating your event playbook, it's going to help you actually organize all this information so that you have it in one place. It's going to include an exhibitor map, if there is one. It's going to include an agenda, your corporate profiles, and then longer corporate profiles to take notes and action items. So we can go to the next page, Alicia. So I took the liberty of putting just a page of the agenda, which I got from the website, in here. And what I recommend is actually taking the things you want to go to. As you'll note, some of the things overlap. You're probably not going to go to registration from 3 to 6. That's probably not going to take you that long. So what are the other things you're going to go to as you go through this conference? And I would take out those things and make your own agenda. That's your first page, which tells you the different things you're going to do. So for example, we just have a sample here, but there might be a reception that you're going to on that first day. You might actually schedule an event outside of the walk-in talks and the regular events. Maybe you're going to plan to meet up with someone after the walk-in talks and go to breakfast. You want to put that on your agenda, so you have it all in one place. The beauty of having it in one place in a notebook or even a binder that you bring with you is that you can then take notes and then bring that back to you and capture all of that information. This is something that I do for the conferences that I go to, and I also do it for our clients, so they have all of this stuff all in one place. And Alicia, we can go to the next step. And then this is also where you're going to capture that information that you have captured on your corporate targets. You'll note I didn't put in 25 people here. Again, you want to narrow it down so you can actually have meaningful information and meaningful conversations with these people. This is just samples, but you want to think about, okay, these are the companies I'm going to meet with. I like to take the picture from LinkedIn of the person that's going to be there. So if you haven't met them before, you might see them before your scheduled meeting, and you want to know who that person is and have a little bit of information. Okay, this is what we're talking to them about. In doing my research, I found that they have XYZ need, and I want to follow up with them on that. As you can see in the book, General Motors, for example, their big thing is zero crashes, zero emissions, zero congestion. If you're going to see them at the conference, you want to make sure that what you're presenting aligns with those goals. And then finally, there's the longer corporate profiles. So these are the corporate profiles you're going to keep updating after the conference. And we're going to get a little bit into follow-up, because I like to talk about that when people are preparing, so you have it on your calendar. Yes, not only am I going to go to this conference and make the most of it, but I'm also going to have some time to follow up. The first part of that is taking good notes, so that when you meet the supplier diversity person, and maybe you meet them, as Alicia said, at the reception. Maybe it's not in a formal event. Maybe you meet them at the walk and talk. You want to capture that information somewhere so you can bring it home and remember it. Heather and I talk about this a lot, that even if you think there's no way I'm going to forget this conversation, it was so important and so impactful, chances are 3 days later, after a long plane trip and then a weekend, you might not remember why you put 16 stars on that one business card. So you want to take the notes so that you have it.
Another thing I think is a really important part of this page right here is to talk about the values of the people you're meeting with. At the Disability In Conference, for example, Bank of America made a very bold statement that if a company does not have disability inclusion, they will not be a supplier to Bank of America. And that is all over their annual reports. It's all over their social media. It's all over a lot of their different online initiatives. So if you know that, then you can talk about your disability inclusion in your own company. Whether that just means that you look to hire somebody on the spectrum, whether that means that you're involved in local disability industries, whether it means that you are aware that this is something that you want to do in 2020. But these are the type of things that go on this page, because you may forget that that's the important mission to that specific corporation.
Yep. And one of the great things, and I actually did this at the last conference I went to because Heather mentioned it during one of our modules, was that you can even, if you put all of this in a binder together and then put like those plastic cards where you put business cards in there, it's really a helpful way to organize that. And yeah, there you might just write the values as you're listening to something. You might be like, oh, Bank of America, disability inclusion. But then when you take that home, you have it all organized. It's not all in a million different places. Okay, we can go to the next page. Okay, so at the event, I think we've talked a little bit about this. I like to have a good plan of the targets we're meeting, but also leave room for spontaneity. Leave room for, okay, I'm going to meet this person in the walk and talk, or this other BE wants to meet with me. What are things that I can do there? You don't want to be so rigidly scheduled that you don't have room to make those connections. And this also goes with your conference calls and meetings and things that you have from the pressures at home. We're all business owners. It's hard to leave. It's hard to just completely shut down for a couple of days, but you do really want to be present so you have time for those spontaneous connections. I always say that sometimes the best connections you make are people that you meet in line in the restroom.
True.
So that's, you want to leave room for that. Make connections, and that's not only for yourself in terms of your business, but making connections for other people. Sometimes you might not be right for somebody. I saw one of the tips that one of the buyers was giving was that if you're not right for us, leave space for someone else to be right for us, be ready to walk away if it's not the right time. An even better thing is to say, I'm not right for this, but I can suggest someone that is. You can suggest another BE that might be right for that. Identify different audiences and use different pitches. This is something we go over in a lot more detail in one of the modules we have in terms of your value proposition. But you want to make sure that if you are pitching to another BE who is a partner or a potential supplier to you, that's going to be very different than the information you give to one of the corporate members. So you want to think about those audiences as you use the different pitches. And then, of course, take those notes in your playbook. Take good notes. Some of you might be going home to someone else, right? Where you're the business development person, you're the spokesperson, you're out there, but you might want to take it home to someone else at your company that's actually going to capture all of this in your CRM. So the better notes that you can take, the easier that becomes. Heather, do you have anything else for at the event?
No, I love your comment about spontaneity, because it's happened so many times that I go in with a set schedule and then I get an impromptu matchmaker or an impromptu meeting for coffee, or I'm at the bar and I happen to be sitting next to somebody and it's early enough in the night that we can have a very intense business conversation.
Yeah.
So you just never know. So I love that point to it.
Great. Okay.
And obviously the value proposition pitches.
Yes.
I know we have a whole module just on value proposition and differentiators. I just want to remind everybody that your NGLCC certification is not the differentiator. Almost everyone at this conference is NGLCC certified or diversity certified through some. Why are you the best choice in your space? If you're not the cheapest, why are you worth that extra investment? What makes you better than every other person in your space? Your competition, because we all have competition. I know we like to think we don't. We all have competitors. why are we better? That's the message that you have to figure out how to deliver in a succinct manner.
Yeah, that's a great point. Why do you win? And I think it's probably we'll probably go into that in a little more detail in the Reach for Success portion that we do, where we'll talk a little bit about not just your pitch and your 30-second pitch, but really that value proposition and how do you present that in a way that makes sense to people. So I mentioned follow-up. I think this is the key to all conferences. It's showing up and following up. Because if you go and you spend the money to go and you spend the night in a hotel room, but then you don't do the follow-up, you're probably not going to meet your goals. So what I like to do, you have plenty of time now. You've got time before the conference. Actually put it on your calendar right now. Schedule the time. This is when I'm going to do my follow-up. Maybe it involves other people on your team that you want to bring in and debrief with. Maybe it involves just going through and capturing a picture of all your business cards. Whatever your follow-up is, you want to schedule time for that. And then secondarily, put that system in place. One thing I do is, which is pretty simple, I prioritize the connections as I go. As I get business cards, as I get connections, I go, okay, let me say 1, 2, 3. So my 1s are the ones I'm going to immediately follow up with. The 2s are the ones I'm going to do a little bit later. And 3s are sort of, okay, we had a nice conversation, but maybe I'm just going to connect with them on LinkedIn, and there's something later on down the road that will come of that. Whatever you might have a much more sophisticated system where you put people in HubSpot and you start a trip marketing campaign for them or what have you. But whatever your system is, you want to prioritize those connections and then have a deadline for following up. Keeping in mind that, the supplier diversity definitely doesn't slow down in the summer. There's a lot of conferences. This will be the third one that I know about that's happening in the summer. But people are on vacation. I got one follow-up from someone I met at the end of June at the WeBank conference, and they just followed up with me yesterday to say, sorry, I haven't gotten to you. I look forward to following up with you soon. So it wasn't even, they were like, yes, I heard you, and I'm going to get back to you later. So you want to have a deadline for your own follow-up while also allowing them space to get back to you in their timeline. And evaluate whether you met your goals and whether there's something that can help you do that. Do you need a more solid pitch? Do you need marketing materials? Is there something you need to outsource so that you can really make the most of these conferences? Or maybe you need, you need some help in terms of navigating the space. And going back to the playbook, review that playbook and add the notes to your ongoing list of corporate targets. So maybe some of the corporate targets after the conference are going to fall off your list. Maybe you're like, I really thought that this company was going to be a good one, but actually I had a much better conversation with this other company, and so they're going to move to the top of my list, and these other ones are going to move down in priority. It's your playbook and your list of corporate documents is a living, breathing thing, and you want to make sure that you're keeping track of the connections that are really valuable for you. Heather, anything to add on that?
No, you're doing great.
Awesome. Okay, and then I think that's all we have. Alicia, do you want to go to the next slide?
Yes. So
I'm excited for questions, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the next slide is the questions, the Q&A. First, I want to thank you, Heather and Liz, so much for that wonderful and very much so insightful presentation. There were so many things that I even got out of it to, inform people about. I mean, the event playbook, you guys, I can't wait for all of our BEs to come for our pre-conference session, the Reach for Success with their event playbook. So you have homework. We look forward to seeing them and having you prepared for conference. And also, I really appreciate y'all talking about how your certification is not the differentiator. Yeah. I've had a corporate partner tell me that what makes your business, your certification is what's getting you in, so what makes you different from what the 10 million other businesses or 10, other businesses are doing that you are doing as well. So I really,
Correct.
appreciate that. But the floor is now open for the Q&A. If you have any questions, please type it in the chat box, and I will read them out for anyone to answer.
And if anyone wants more information, some of this information is on our Diversity Masterminds website, which is just diversitymasterminds.com.
I see one question where someone asked, the event playbook, is that something we suggest you create on your own, or is there a template that we can follow? It is something I recommend creating on your own. When you join Diversity Masterminds, we do give you the template that you can follow. But you want to create something that works for you and works for your team.
Thank you for that. Yes. Any other questions? I think there's a couple of them regarding matchmakers. Okay,
Yeah, it looks like there's some questions.
Oh, okay. The question is, Todrick Hall speaking at the conference? The answer is yes, he is a keynote speaker. Another question, can someone send out a capability statement so we can see how to put that together? Yes, we will. We have the Engagement Center, Devin Smith. We have examples. So please just, Philip, just email me and I can respond with an example. Okay. How long before the conference are meetings usually scheduled? The meetings are usually scheduled. We try to have it at least a week before, but I mean, it's kind of ongoing once the registration opens. So if there are openings, if there's still available openings, we try to, match all the openings that our buyers have, as well as our suppliers. So it is ongoing. Let me see.
Someone else mentioned a capability statement, so they can see how to put that together, which is a great question. Mm-hmm. I would actually just Google capability statements and you can see images of ones and look for ones in your industry. Because if you just Google it, you can find something, and try to keep it to a page, maybe two, but less is generally more.
Awesome. Yes. Thank you for that. What will we do without Google? Is there a good place or time to pass out samples of media or promo items without overstepping boundaries? That is a good question. Liz or Heather, would one of you want to answer that?
I usually say if you have a scheduled meeting, I always bring it with me and then offer for them to take it, or should I send it to you afterwards? Because a lot of the people who are attending the conference come with a lot of stuff, and schlepping back even more just stuff can overwhelm them. And so if you can say, whether it be, something you can email them, or if you can mail it to them, that does help alleviate the burden of them having to bring it back with them. Also, just remember that a lot of these supplier diversity managers, especially if you're focusing on the corporations or even the diverse suppliers, I know I travel 1 to 3 weeks a month in the summer, are doing a lot of their work on their phones, which means if you're sending them a very large file, they won't be able to access it. So if it's a video, make sure it's something they can access from their phone. If it's a PDF, make sure it's not an overwhelming size, so that they can view it on their phone if they have requested that you send it to them afterwards.
Thank you, Heather. I have another question. Where do we click to request meeting with a buyer? Information regarding the My Business Matches portal. We will be sending out a one-pager as well as a guide on, where to go to, where to click and how to navigate through the portal. So we will be sending that out shortly, either later today or first thing tomorrow morning. But if you do have any questions regarding matchmakers, you can email us at matchmakers@nglcc.org, in which I have all of our email information right there. So yeah, so feel free to contact us as far as the actual navigating through the portal. So another question, are all the buyers registered, or are there going to be more? There will be more. There's going to be a lot more. So again, all of this has really just recently opened. So everybody, do not get overwhelmed. You are not going to miss out on anything. There's still availability and, more buyers that will be registering on the portal. Is it generally frowned upon to reschedule meetings with buyers?
Yeah.
Liz or Heather, would y'all like to answer that?
I think it depends how it's done.
Exactly.
I think it depends how it's done. If it's something that you just don't show up and you're like, hey, dude, sorry I missed that meeting. Can we do it another time? That would not be a very good way to reschedule it. If things come up, if something happened, there's a fire has to be put out, most of the people that you're meeting with also have very busy schedules. The sooner you tell them, the better, because then they can get somebody else in there who might be waiting for that opportunity to have that sit down.
Yeah, I agree. I rescheduled a matchmaker with a buyer at the last conference, and I did it early, and it was because I was like, well, I'm going to be a judge for the pitch competition. So
Right.
Can we reschedule? And so it was actually really fine, but it is like, be proactive about it and do it as soon as you can.
Exactly. Okay, it seems like we have we have 1 more minute if there's any other questions. Okay, well, again, I would like to just thank everyone for joining us today. Thank you, TJ, Jeff, Liz, and Heather. It was absolutely awesome. I would like to thank y'all for presenting and sharing with us information and your insight on our conference. And to all of you who are participating, who are on our webinar, I would like to thank you for participating today. And I definitely look forward to meeting each and every one of you in Tampa from August 13th through the 16th. In the meantime, if you have any questions, do not hesitate to contact me regarding conference or introduction ceremony or the pre-conference boot camp, the Reach for Success. I'll be more than happy to assist you. Again, thank you, everyone.
Yeah, we can't wait to meet. We can't wait to meet everybody at the conference. Please do find Liz and I. We like to do some little hashtag stump diversity masterminds. So if you have some great questions for us that you want us to answer, we'll do it on a video and we'll share the answers with you.
Yeah, we'll promote you a little bit on social media.
That's great. So yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing everyone on Tuesday. All right, everyone. Y'all have a great rest of your day and see you in Tampa.
All right. Thank
you.